I used to think January was the time to reinvent myself, but every year I would end up exhausted by February and right back where I started. Turns out I was trying to change my life in the wrong season because October, not January, is when moms are actually wired to change. And I learned that the hard way, unfortunately. Exactly 3 years ago, my divorce was finalized. It was the hardest, most defining change of my life, and it happened in October, not January. That's when I changed my entire motherhood in the best way possible. So, because of that, I stopped trying to reinvent myself in January because honestly, it just never worked. But October did. And here are 7 reasons why this month, right now, is the best time to change your motherhood. Number 1, real change does not happen in the hype season because hype runs on pressure. And pressure never produces peace, which is what every mom wants, right? We've all tried it, using that pressure. For me, January started with the pressure to set huge goals, kind of a whole new year, new me energy. And by February, I was tired and discouraged and swimming in even more guilt. I thought surely motivation was the problem, right? Or I just wasn't trying hard enough. I wasn't working hard enough, but it wasn't. It was actually the timing. Fall invites slower, more grounded change. The air here in Utah right now is getting much, much cooler, a little too cool for my taste. Rhythms are settling. It's now that your nervous system finally calms down enough from the summer to think really clearly. You don't need hype, you need honesty. October gives us that. And I say honesty is what changes motherhood because it requires peace. The more pressure we're adding to the situation, the worse it's going to get. Motherhood is already full of pressure to do more, to do it better, to do it more like her. Every single day, especially with social media, we are told we need to do more, and that pressure builds more and more. And so we don't need to pile any more pressure just because of what month it is, but we do. We pile on pressure on top of a motherhood that already has too much pressure. So the rhythm of nature, right, the seasons that we're talking about, that rise and fall of energy, isn't random. It's actually built into your body. You, being the amazing woman that you are. Reason number 2, just like your menstrual cycle, fall is an invitation to pause. Because your body was never meant to run at full speed all year long. I know you wish it was. I wish it was. So now if you don't think that much about your period, please stay with me. I used to be in your same boat, never thinking twice about that. For pretty much my entire life, I fought my body's natural rhythm. I pushed through when I was tired. I piled on more when I was feeling guilty. I was just living with this constant get it done right now energy. But a few years ago, I finally started tracking my cycle. And I know I'm super embarrassed to admit that it took me 33 years to do that. I just wasn't educated enough to know the importance of doing that. But better late than never, I did start tracking my cycle. And as I was learning more about the cycle itself, the 4 phases of the cycle, and mine in particular, so many things clicked for me. God designed me with seasons. How cool is that? Just like fall, your luteal phase is a time to pause. So we're coming off of that summer energy, it's just like, whoa, go, go, go. Later days, right? Not later days, but more sunlight in the days, longer days. That's what I'm looking for. All of that summer energy, we come down from that, and it's a perfect time to just rest and reflect and release what's not working. That's where change comes, is when we can release what's not working and even have the clarity to know how to move forward. I personally have 5 fruit trees at my house and a few massive butterfly bushes, all of which are getting ready for some pruning, right? In the fall, you prune certain plants. Our motherhood is the exact same way. It needs pruning before it starts growing. We have to take the time right now to reflect and just kind of be in order to even see what changes we need to make and how to really move forward. And the wild part, your brain agrees with this rhythm too, because it's literally wired for reflection and reset in seasons like October. Your brain really isn't wired for January goals. You're not lazy, you're just misaligned. Those Januaries that I talked about, they were honestly a little bit torturous because I actually really struggle at that time of the year. Maybe I'm the only one. Let me know in the comments. Do you feel that post-holiday crash? Do you have any winter blues sometimes? I do, and January is the hardest time for me personally. It's just a really hard time. It's a really hard transition coming off of the holidays, knowing there's still a lot of snow ahead of us here in Utah winters. After the holidays, your brain is in recovery. Decision fatigue, dopamine crash, low sunlight, cold, snow, all working against motivation, which is what you need to really start changing. But in October, your brain thrives on rhythm. Okay, routines reform naturally, your energy stabilizes, your emotional bandwidth opens. Change finally sticks because your mind and body are actually ready for that. And when you start thinking about change before everyone else does, right? In October, who's thinking about change? Nobody. Then you tap into something even more powerful. Number 4, the secret to real transformation is starting when no one else is. Because quiet change is sustainable change. The biggest shifts in my motherhood didn't happen when the world was telling me to reset, or they weren't bombarding me with all these new planners and journals and resolutions. It happened in times when it just made sense for me, when I had the desire, when I had the energy, when no one else was watching, when I wasn't comparing myself to everyone else's goals, when I wasn't trying to measure up or be someone I wasn't or follow this new trend. In October, 3 years ago, my divorce was finalized. That was a pivotal time for me in my life. Was there other things happening for the whole world where it's like New Year's resolutions, it's time for change? No, that was my season of change. October became my quiet new year. The world wasn't kind of ramming resolutions down my throat. It was just still quiet. The holidays hadn't hit yet, right? It was a perfect time for me to really focus on myself, focus on my motherhood, reflect on life. We have to kind of get deep sometimes when we're really wanting change. We have to really self-reflect and open ourselves up and make the space to listen to God. What is He telling me to do? What does He need me to do? Here I was at this crossroads. What do I need to do right now? I had to quiet everything, and October was such a good time to do that. It didn't feel like there was any rush or anything going on, or, oh, what are you going to start? It's January. What's the time frame? What are all the logistics of this goal? The quiet just gives you some space to really listen to God, listen to yourself, and just notice what your home actually needs. Because that's where the transformation needs to happen for your entire family, for your home. And if you think about it, October already feels like a new year for moms. Number 5, fall is the real new year for moms because moms live by the school calendar, don't we? We don't live by the January to December wall calendar. So when my kids head back to school, my rhythms naturally shift. And even when I was homeschooling, it was the exact same. So we have a summer rhythm and we have a school time rhythm. Now, my mornings are opened up again. Well, really kind of for the first time. My son is in kindergarten. And so my youngest, I should say, is in kindergarten. So now all 3 kids go to school. It's just like 2.5 hours, but it's a block of time now. That is a drastically different rhythm than summer. Everyone's home, right? The rhythm changes drastically. After school, fall sports, if your kids are in extracurriculars, things look very different throughout the seasons. And as a mom, we're very susceptible to those factors. Our life is going to revolve around those rhythms. Right now, I'm craving that kind of order and purpose. It's like the idea of January, but calmer at this time of year because we're reshifting schools back in, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Fall can give you clarity. The year's starting to wind down. 2025 is almost done. You've seen what's working, what's not working. You've lived through a lot of the year, different stages, different growth with your kids, all the things. And that's when your mindset can actually start shifting because your life doesn't feel quite as chaotic. There's a lot of chaotic times of the year, and October, in my experience, is for rest. January only tries to be that. But honestly, by January, most moms aren't dreaming of change. They're just trying to survive, aren't we? Number 6, January is for survival. October is for intention. Because survival and transformation just are never going to mix, ever. That's not the way it works. By the time January rolls around, I'm usually running on fumes. Holiday chaos, too much sugar, way too many plans, just too many emotions. My body and brain really are not ready for resolutions. They're not just pumped to just go get them, right? But in October, I can breathe. I can really kind of rest and get to the point where I'm ready, and I'm ready to tackle the changes I want to make. January goals often come from self-criticism. We're really hard on ourselves, especially over Christmas. Again, maybe it's just me. Let me know in the comments. After Christmas, do you find yourself kind of kicking yourself of like, oh dang, I shouldn't have spent money on that thing, or that gift did not go as planned. The morning was not as magical as I pictured. Oh my gosh, the external, like extended family was frustrating, the crowds, all the things. A lot of times we're in a critical frame of mind by the time January hits, especially self-criticism. And so January comes and you're saying like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm finally going to get it together. But October can be more about self-awareness, more of coming from a place of, I just want to live with peace. That is such a difference. Self-criticism versus self-awareness, that difference alone changes everything. Intention can grow when you're rested, not when you're running. And if there's a time, if ever there is a time to set the tone for your home, it's before the whirlwind hits. Number 7, change your home before the holidays change you. Because if you don't set the atmosphere right now, the season will set it for you. I used to end by the end of November, even mid-November. I was already stressed out. I was feeling behind. I was snapping. I was trying to make sure it was magical enough. I was juggling all the obligations. And now I started in October. I simplify, I declutter, I set priorities, and the difference in my home is palpable. When you change your motherhood in October, you actually end the holidays as the woman that you want to be. At the most, I could say, most important time of the year. Everyone thinks of family around Christmas time, right? We want to show up for our families and our kids the best way possible then. Present, peaceful, grounded. So as we head into this season, can we just drop the pressure for a minute? You don't have to add pressure to yourself. You don't have to pile it on. I know it's human nature. We want to be better. We know that God wants us to be our best, and we're just so convinced we're never enough, and so we have to just kill ourselves trying. But please just promise me you will take enough quiet time in this dip of the season in October to just drop the pressure. You don't have to mother like that lady on Instagram. You don't have to be planning the holidays like your neighbor is planning them. You don't have to follow every new trend that's coming your way or try to become some better version of yourself that the world just keeps pushing on you. God already made you on purpose, and he did it right the first time. This is just all about growth and learning. This season is your chance to just slow down, listen, really figure out what kind of motherhood you want in your home. What does that actually look like for you? Not the world's version, not my version, just yours. please join me for my masterclass. It's coming really soon. It will help you so much as you figure this out for yourself. It's all about how I finally found confidence as a mom without doing more or being someone else. Go ahead and grab the ebook below. It will get you on my email list so that you will be ready for that. It's seriously coming very soon. And you will also have access to an amazing discount once you're on that list to my upcoming course. Even if you don't, though, just take a few minutes, put some thought into how God designed you to mother. That's what your family needs, and that's what you need in order to feel peace. You're amazing, and I'll see you soon.